usual, coming to you live from the nation's capital. Well, endorsement here and there. I will be endorsed very soon. But let's talk about a current endorsement. Talking about political parties, yes, like I earlier said, endorsement here and there. We're going to analyze Peter Obi's endorsement and youth mobilization. Not just the Labour Party endorsement, I know other presidential candidates have been endorsed as well. And to do justice to this topic is no other person but Dr. Nicholas Felix. He's the APC youngest presidential aspirant and the Deputy National Youth Coordinator of the APC PCC. Dr. Nicholas, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Happy New Year. And we're happy that we're going to be endorsed this morning. All right, talking about endorsement. Is it enough to say a candidate has the back or support of his electorate?
I mean, endorsements are good. I'm not going to dispute that. If not for anything, if somebody endorses you, it means you just got one more vote. And so there's nothing wrong with it, but at the end of the day, we have to look at who is endorsing who. How does he favor the candidate? How does he affect the other candidates? I think that's the crucial thing sometimes we look into. If I'm endorsing my candidate, I don't think the other candidates will be scared of anything because I'm already in their camp. You know, it's already obvious this is the person I'm going to be endorsing. Take a look at somebody like Goodluck Jonathan. If he come out to say I'm endorsing Peter Obi or I'm endorsing Atiku, I don't think the APC camp will have anything to worry about because we're not expecting you to endorse on anyway. But in a nutshell, endorsements are quite okay, but it doesn't mean that the people in your electorate are going to vote for this person, because at the end of the day, this election is a critical election, and everybody are looking for the candidates that will favor them. Whether the women, whether youth and individuals, they're looking at the candidates that's going to be favorable to them. I think that's what's going to count.
All right, okay. I've heard this over and again that it's one man, one vote, endorsement is not as serious as that. But your party sometime visited this person that endorsed this other candidate. What was the reason for the visit if endorsement didn't really mean much?
The visit was not necessarily for him to endorse. I think Olusegun Obasanjo is an elder statesman, he's an ex-president. It's just right, it's just appropriate if you're running for the seat of the president to visit such men. I believe he wasn't the only one that was visited. Our candidate also visited Goodluck Jonathan. So these are just, it's a mark of respect, it's a mark of, honor. If I'm going to run for the office of the president, these are ex-presidents, you can visit them. And it's politicking. Who wouldn't want anybody to endorse them? I remember in 2019, when we were running, I was running for president. One of my team members said to me, they know I'm a pastor. They said we're going to go everywhere. We're going to even go to Shrine to campaign. The girls are going to vote for us. We're going to go to the mosques. We're going to go to the market. We're going to go to church. In other words, I know you're a pastor, but this is not about church now. We're going to go to Shrine. When he said that, just like you're laughing, I started laughing. I said, that's right. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be president of everybody. So we're going to visit everywhere. So a candidate or any other candidate visiting anybody, I don't think is wrong. Peter Obi or Atiku can decide to go and visit Muhammadu Buhari to pay him respect. You are the president of the country, I'm running for office. That doesn't mean Buhari is going to endorse them or they're seeking for the endorsement. It's just part of politicking, and that's the way I see it.
All right, okay. Still on endorsement. They say one man, one vote, but we cannot deny the fact that a lot of these people, they have influence. And there's something Yoruba people call Eriko, Jekalo, and all that, that when they say, this is how we want it, it's just like emirs, traditional rulers, the kind of power they have. You say one man, one vote, but they have the power to say, I think this person is good, let's follow the person. Okay, so we have political candidates going to churches, going to mosque, to canvass for votes. That is part of endorsement. Do you think it is okay to use religion as a tool to source for, endorsements?
I wouldn't despise it. I wouldn't say it's wrong. Wherever you can get your votes, it will only be wrong or not appropriate if you only focus on one religion.
Okay.
I would expect, like again, you're going to be president not for Christians, you're going to be president of Nigeria, where you have various religions and, you know, traditions. So if you go to church to canvass for vote, it's fine. If you go to mosques, it's only when we only see you in churches and we don't see you in mosques, or we only see you in mosques, we don't see you in churches. You're telling us these are the people you care about alone. So I think it's up to the candidates and their campaign team to decide who am I really going to target. And is it working for them? Is it working against them? So if you feel like you're going to get a chunk of the vote from these people, however you feel you want it, it's up to you. At the end of the day, are you playing the right politics that will affect you positively or negatively? That's the question. So again, endorsement is not wrong, but is it going to affect you? I think that's for the campaign team to decide how they're going to play it.
Okay, before we move to youth mobilization, you are the youngest presidential aspirant. How did you come about that? Are you the youngest?
Yes, I was the youngest presidential aspirant.
Okay.
And even 2019, I was 37.
Oh.
That was my first time running. And I actually came third position in the general election after Atiku Abubakar. It all stemmed from frustration of, you know, getting angry with the way this nation was. Actually, what brought me into politics, I'm a pastor and a businessman. Politics is never something I intended to get into. But it was an experience in America where I was in a place and the owner of the store was insulting a Nigerian over the phone. He was, talking to somebody, and apparently Nigeria was the only country he had to abuse, ran the country down. Do you think I'm one of those stupid, all those kind of stuff? It got to me very hard. I could not sleep that night. For the first time, we hear these insults, but I was so ashamed. I could not sleep. I said, you know what? I think I have to go back to my country and try to do something. That was the very night I sent a message on Facebook that I'm running for president. And that's how the whole thing started. And since then, we've been
And you chose to step down. When the heat was much, you chose to step down.
Yeah, 2019 was a smaller party, but we discovered these smaller parties will never get the job done in terms of the presidency. So we decided to join a bigger party and join the APC. And because of the new electoral bill that was signed, usually primary elections are done in October, November.
Yeah.
And this time around, it was done, between May and June. There wasn't enough time for us to really reach out to the delegates. When we had some of our staff making calls, reaching out to the delegates, and some of the responses we were getting, some would say, oh, we are not used to him, we don't know him. Some, acknowledge that they know, but there was not enough time to really interface with them. So at that time, we figured out, when I'm with my team, we're truthful to ourselves. We say to ourselves, we're not going to hit this thing. It is best we support somebody we think would be youth friendly. I'm an advocate for the youth, and that's how we chose to step down. It wasn't planned to. We're going into the race to go and step down for somebody. No.
Okay. How much do you think the youth are ready? How much mobilization have you done?
The youth are ready, but it depends on the readiness. For example, this election, the youth are ready to vote. Again, what I'm advocating for is not for the youth to vote, it's for the youth to be voted for. But for this election, I think the youth are ready. For me, as a youth, and as a member of the APC, what I desire is that youth will be represented. Not just, if you listen to my speech during the primary election, I made it very clear. I discovered the only position youth are given an essay. For some reason, I don't know why I don't like that title for youth. It's like, I see youth, I'm the SA to the SA to the PA to the governor. I'm like, oh, please, is that the only thing we can offer as SA? These guys were in their 20s when they became head of states. They were in their 30s. Even currently, when you look at some of the ages of these governors, these ministers, they started very early. How come now the only thing we are good for is just SA? We want ministers, we want DGs of parastatals, we want governors. Thank God we have Governor Yaya Bello, a very young, dynamic man who's, as governor. We need to be voted for. Do you know, our population is growing at a rate of 2.6%. And By 2050, to be estimated that will be over 370 million Nigerians. Currently, we are the largest population in Africa and number 7 in the world. And the alarming thing is 70% of our population are under 30. 70%. That's 7 out of every 10 they are under 30. And 42 are under 15. So we are the large majority of the country. And yet, we don't hold any federal office or position. So this election, what we want to do first is to be able to elect somebody that will position us, get us ready for the next election. I'm seeing beyond 2023. People think I'm just here campaigning for 2023. No, I'm campaigning beyond 2023. We are preparing ourselves. Unfortunately, in the next 8 years, some of us will no longer even be youth. That's how bad it's getting, that even at this time we are seeing youth are the leaders of tomorrow. But we are not prepared for tomorrow, and the tomorrow is not even prepared for us. So for this election, we have to make sure we elect a favorable president that will favor the youth, that will get us ready to be voted for, not just to vote. Right now, we are ready to vote, but we are not prepared to be voted for.
Isn't this the usual campaign promises? I will give you this, Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. Some persons are really tired of it. So what is the assurance that your candidate or political leaders will live to promises or, campaign promises delivered, to give Nigerians a dividend of democracy?
Yeah, to add to that, also taking into cognizance renewed hope. People are arguing that why do you have to renew our hope? Because the APC is currently in government, and
the hope was
the hope was shattered for some people. So how sure are you're going to be able to renew this hope again?
I'm so glad you asked that question. Campaign promises. Politicians have sweet mouth, not just in Nigeria, all over the world.
Just like yours as well.
Just like my candidate.
No, like you're talking so sweet now.
I don't consider myself the usual politicians you see on the street.
Okay, all right.
I'm playing politics in a different way.
Okay.
I think that's what you youth are bringing on board. We're bringing fresh ideas.
Okay.
New way of politicking. Now, talking about promises, because after the NSAS protest, the youth woke up. And a lot of the politicians are seeing that, wow, youth are important. That's why everybody is taking advantage of the youth. And everybody is promising all manner of things. What I want the Nigerian youth to look at, don't listen to these candidates, including mine. Don't listen to the fact he said he was going to do this. What I want you to look at is their antecedents. This man is telling you he's going to make youth minister. When he was governor, how many youth were commissioners? That's what you should ask yourself. That's what we need to look at. As youth, when I'm speaking about youth, I try not to just center it on my party, because I want to believe I represent youth all over the country. So don't listen to this man who is promising us this. Don't listen to this man who is saying that the youth are ready and they try to take advantage of it. When you were a governor, how many youths were commissioners? How many youths got contracts? How many youth did you empower to become great businessmen and women? That's the question we should be asking. When you were vice president, how many youths did you empower? Just mention names. Just tell us, we can find them. But for my candidate, this is one thing anybody cannot deny. Apparently people have been saying all manner of things, but when it comes to the fact that he can empower people, nobody is arguing it, because we see it all over the place. The governor of Lagos State was elected at 52. We are seeing ministers, we are seeing governors, people he has empowered. He became governor, and after 8 years, he left office. He did not just go into hiding. He started empowering people, even up until now. Nobody has such track record. None of the candidates can dare such record. Nobody can deny it. He's the only person who has that record, that this man can empower. People think I'm supporting Asiwaju because I'm a member of the APC. Far from that. It took me a while. As a matter of fact, after the election, I even granted several interviews on TV that I did not support yet. I don't support a candidate without knowing what this man can do. I started asking people questions. I met somebody that knew him before he became governor. We sat down. He spoke. I met people that knew him. All manner of experience I was hearing. When different people who literally don't know each other start saying the same thing, I said, wow, this is somebody I think, if you did this thing over 20 years ago and consistently, this is what you have been doing, it means this is your pattern, this is your lifestyle. You're not going to change now when you become president. When I saw that, I said, I think this is the person the youth need to rally around. Not the sweet promises, because Politicians are going to, it's like a young man who's looking for a bride. They use the sweet mouth. They will sweep you off the floor. But let's look at, sir, when you were governor, tell us, give us names. Don't just throw generally. Give us names. And these people, are they still in offices? Did you empower them? Are they continuing their political career? Who are the businessmen today who became great CEOs of companies because you empowered them when you had power? Okay. That's what we want to hear. And apparently there's only one candidate on the ballot, and that person is Ashiwaju.
Okay, all right.
There are other candidates as well. That's for you, but to say for the public, there are other candidates. Now, as an advocate of the youth, yes, what role have you played in ensuring that PVC collection becomes, an easy task for Nigerians, particularly the youth, you actually signing for?
I think the INEC has been doing a great job in announcing and doing their best for people to go and collect the PVC. There's a little or more you can do when it comes to INEC as a political party. You cannot be seen, trying to influence INEC. Otherwise, the next thing you will hear on the news that APC are trying to get INEC to do otherwise. But hearing the news, for example, from the 6th, I think that was yesterday, to the 22nd, INEC have been announcing, it's been circulating on WhatsApp pages where you can go and collect your PVC. I want to, believe that the youth should take advantage of that and go and collect the PVC. Yeah. But can I also remind you that beyond collecting of the PVC, let's even look at how many million Nigerians already have their PVC. So when you look at the number of votes that we get at every election, and you look at the number of registered voters who have collected their PVC, you will discover the margin is so low. So the issue now is, those of you who have collected your PVC, because it's not enough to collect your PVC, on the day of election, you need to go out and vote. That's the main thing here now. If you have not collected, INEC have done their best. They have prepared it, and they have told us between the 6th and the 22nd, they gave us, you can go to INEC office and pick it up. I think from the 22nd, you have to go to your local government, your ward. I believe the youth should take advantage of that. There's not much you can do anymore other than the information that has been released out there.
All right, okay. There was one statement the APC presidential candidate made in a campaign that he would empower Yahoo boys in quotes and make them be able to manufacture chips. And people did not really see that go down well, because they are saying there are tech-savvy people, there are genuine people, and you've not empowered them. So why going to empower dishonest people? What's your take about that? It was saying that in in line with youth empowerment. So what's your take on that statement?
If you tell me somebody is angry with that statement, I was there, it was in Benin. I was standing right on the stage with him. If you tell me somebody is angry that our candidate want to take
worried, angry,
yeah, worried, concerned. I know it's politics. Everybody's going to find every little error, but that's something good, because right now, people think, especially in the international community, they think Nigerians are Yahoo boys, these young men, and they have knowledge. When you talk about tech savvy, all my websites are done in Nigeria. Everything internet, I do them in Nigeria. And sometimes people, I brought my manifesto, 2019, and people thought I did it in America. It was so nice. Everybody is praising America. I said, no, it was done in Lagos. It was done by young men with computer. He is saying, you guys have the knowledge. I'm going to take it Yahoo from you and give you something to do. Those of you already in the tech industry, yes, we celebrate you, but we're trying to take these guys from this lifestyle. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think he's trying to empower. If you used to carry gun, we're saying we're going to take gun from you and put something else in your hand. This computer, you are so used to it, for you to hack into somebody's account, for you to be able to break into website, break into people's account and move money from one place to another, that is some level of knowledge that we need to harness. So he's saying, I'm ready to make you guys important citizens and not Yahoo boys anymore. I think that needs an applaud. We needed to stand up and give a standing ovation, not to be concerned. I don't know what somebody is concerned about.
You need to give a standing ovation, not we.
Everybody needs to give a standing ovation. Well, Yahoo boys are about, God forbid, you don't want to fall victim of them.
No,
when you fall victim, you will appreciate somebody who's trying to reduce.
But in all of this, I think what we are trying to do or to say is to let's get things out of these people, the youth.
Yes.
Rather than the Japa syndrome, rather than thinking of going outside the country to boost the economy of other countries. Let's have them in Nigeria here. But the way and manner presidential candidates, make their statement or dish out information is exactly what is important. Some would take, some would give out, and some will want to drop the other aspect. But what is the most important thing is to see how to get Nigerian youth engaged, to see how we can, give them hope.
Okay,
not renewed hope. Give them real hope.
No, I will explain
because we are tired of
I'm going to explain
we've been having renewed hope every year, every month, every day. But what we are looking for is an everlasting hope. Hope that Nigerian youth will be rest assured that they can go back to their country at any time, any day, to contribute their quota to the nation and develop their own country rather than wanting to drop back.
The same people who are concerned that our candidate said is going to make Yahoo boys, are they also concerned? Because in that same vein, he did mention that he would take AK-47 from their hands. Are they concerned that AK-47 will be taken out of the hand of the bandits?
Dr. Nicholas, we'll have you back in the studio again because we can go to the office.
I want to know somebody is hungry or concerned.
Thank you very much. And the most important thing is that we are getting our endorsement here because endorsement is flying everywhere and every day. We wish your candidates well and we wish all political presidential aspirants well ahead of the 2023 general elections. And that's how far we can take on today's episode of the program News Hub Extra. We've been talking with Dr. Nicholas Felix, is the APC youngest presidential aspirant and Deputy National Youth Coordinator of the APC PCC. Once again, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And from me, it's a bye. And from Martin, okay?
Yes, it's a bye. And let me quickly pick the notes she
like,
gave me
seriously? All right, thank you.
All right, see you next week.
See you next
News
week.
Up Extra.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.